Susan, can you tell me your name and where you live?
Susan Hagerman, and I live in British Columbia, Canada.
And Megan, can you tell me your name?
Megan Singeris. I live in Ontario, Canada.
And your sisters, is that correct?
Yes.
And tell me a little bit, and either one of you can start, but I'll just direct it towards Susan for the first question is, how did you find out about myotonic dystrophy?
Well, basically through our mom. Her older brother had some kind of medical symptom type thing going on, and he was diagnosed with it. And then she decided to get herself tested, and she was positive, and that's how we found out that we have myotonic dystrophy as well, having our own tests.
When did you find out, respectively? Tell me about your story, and then Megan can tell me.
Well, when I was 30, I was thinking about having a family, so I had a blood test, and it's easier to do it now with the blood test, and they know the chromosome in it. So I just had a blood test, and it was positive. So
Were you having any symptoms when?
Not like I had some cramping in my hands, and I mean you can say that that's myotonic dystrophy, or you can say the jar's just really tight. But since it was a symptom, that was about all. And I had progressive cataracts, which again is a symptom of early detection. So, but I didn't think I had it. Just didn't feel like I had it. But I did have those symptoms.
And Megan, tell me what happened in your case.
Well, I had my appendix out when I was 14, and my mom just gave I knew about it. We all knew that my mom had it, so gave the information in terms of anesthetic precautions. And then again, when I was 18, I had my wisdom tooth out, same thing, and they damaged my vocal cords. So then they decided to do some. It was kind of like with this machine with this little metal thing that they put over different parts of my body, and it made a sound. So they said I had it in my neck, my ankles, and my wrists, but they weren't doing the blood test yet. So I only just found out this past year that I don't have a number because I've never had the blood work done. Because they didn't know the gene when I was tested, with this metal thing. So I don't know what number I'm at, but I was 18 when they told me that.
And tell me what number you're talking about.
The number that you're given in terms of the number of repeats. So my mom will be lower than what ours is, and each generation, and in my case with my son, it increases. That's what they say happens anyways, if it's passed on.
And in your case, Susan, when you found out you wanted to have a family, is that correct?
Right.
And then what happened after you found out?
Well, they sent us to some genetic counseling, which really didn't tell us anything new specifically. I mean, there is a high risk when you're the female carrying it as opposed to being the male carrying it in terms of your children being affected. So we just made a decision what we would do if we got pregnant and got tested when you're pregnant to find out, and made that decision before we got pregnant because you have to have that decided beforehand. So nothing really happened besides a little bit of counseling, and then although it took a long time to get pregnant, we finally did.
What did that early diagnosis mean for you? Not early diagnosis, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I meant being able to make sort of informed decisions about becoming a mom and knowing that you have myotonic dystrophy, and I'd like to hear from Megan as well about this. But what did that mean to you? How did that help you?
Well, it helped because then you can be tested when you're 10 weeks, 12 weeks, and make whatever decision you've come to as in terms of keeping the child or whatever. You can make that decision before you get pregnant. So they'll basically help to know that I had it, and then be prepared for what may happen and make your decision ahead of time. Really is how it helped being diagnosed.
Megan, tell me what, in your case, you found out, you knew that there was something going on since for quite a while. You guys okay? Y'all are good, okay?
Yeah,
Oh,
let
okay.
me turn the AC on.
Okay.
Not here.
Not ours? It's in the middle?
Okay.
Okay. Never mind, it's just a building noise.
Just a building noise. Megan, when you'd known for a while that something was going on as well, you weren't quite sure. Is that the case? You weren't quite sure what it was?
The testing that they did for me confirmed that I did have it. So knowing the number was something that just happened to come up. But I don't think any of us really thought we had it because we played soccer, we danced, we were very active kids. And even with my uncle, I didn't really see how it affected him so much. So it wasn't until later when I started getting more symptoms and saw my uncle and my mom and things changing amongst us that, oh, this is a real disease. But in terms of family, my husband knew, we decided to take that chance. And whatever will be, will be. And we have a daughter who's almost 15, and well, she hasn't been tested, but she shows no signs of it. And then William was, he's severely affected and was at birth. So even prior to delivering, we assumed that there were some problems that I had that indicated that he likely had it. But again, even with the tests, I didn't do the tests, I chose not to. They can say whether it's positive or not, but they can't tell you to what effect. So if William were tested at the same time as, say, my mom knew and was tested, it would just be positive. There was no, this severe, that not severe, like it just was yes or no.
So you're still struggling with sort of making those, those decisions based on the information isn't there necessarily to tell you exactly. It's not giving you a snapshot of where you're at with the disease yet.
No, and for having kids, we just decided we'll go with, whatever will be sort of thing. So it's either my gene or my husband's gene, right? So you have a 50-50 chance.
So both of you had led normal childhoods.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Like, what's different? When did things start changing?
Well, for me, just finding out when I was 30, I don't think the cataracts are just there. I didn't think I was seeing not well, but a cataract, you have a film over your eyes. I didn't know what I would see is what I would see. I didn't see a film. But like my mom said, perfectly normal childhood. And then probably if we hadn't been tested, if we didn't know about it, something would have started to. But she said you were like Megan's 15-year-old. We're doing everything she's doing now too. So hopefully she'll.
Soccer, we did gymnastics. We both danced on school sports teams. Like there wasn't anything that we didn't do. I know that none of us could skate really well, and sometimes in hindsight I wonder was that because we had bad ankles or, there's things like that you can look hindsight and wonder about. But I don't think. We skied. It was just a normal, like what everybody else did.
So, when you did find out definitively that you had it, there was this moment of recognition, and I guess it was different in your family because you were already dealing with it from a generation previous with your mom.
I didn't, but I didn't find her very, even when she was around 45, I guess, and I didn't see it happening to her. I didn't see that she was changing or getting weaker. That came much later, I think.
Yeah, it just sort of was this thing that we had. You didn't really think about it. Like Susan said about the crampy hands. Well, is that because you've been writing for too long, or your eyes are tired? Is that because you've been reading too much, or whatever? When I know for me, even my symptoms were very mild even before I had Stephanie. But when I was pregnant with William, my uncle passed away. And that sort of was the first kind of, it was, pneumonia and pleurisy. So it was because of that and the weakness of the respiratory system that he passed away. So that was sort of, for me, the first thing, this thing is real. It really does. And he also opted to get a G-tube because of swallowing difficulties. And when my mom told me that, it's like, okay. But as a family, we really didn't have a lot of negative things that really affected our day-to-day life too much.
And this is indicative of myotonic dystrophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
For generational pass-through, it's like the grandmother might not have that much, and then it gets adult onset maybe for the next generation, and can.
I think for us, we knew about it, but if we didn't, William would have been the first to say that we have this. And that happens, I think, to a lot of families, that all of a sudden this child is born with all these problems or isn't born because of the problems, and then they start working backwards.
What was that moment like when you knew that you had myotonic dystrophy, that you were going to be faced with this new journey, new challenges in life? What did that feel like?
Well, it totally sucked, actually, because I was athletic, and I mean, I still was, because it didn't really get a lot of changes until after I had Max. Like, not during having Max was wonderful and everything was great and the pregnancy was great, and then afterwards I would find things changing, like strength and things like that. But so yeah, it's not, I mean, I'd rather not have it, but
Yeah.
it's there for a reason, and we'll just deal with it.
Megan, what was your experience with it? Like that moment when you knew definitively that you were going to be dealing with some.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, like my sister said, it sucks, but because I hadn't seen any real negative effects to my mom or anybody else, I really, you know, it's there, I'll deal with it. But as things started to happen with William, like, I can't carry him anymore. I'm not strong enough. So sort of things that have happened to me that have affected the way I want to care for my kids and what I want to do with them, I feel it more now than I did then, because it stops me from doing things with them that I want to do. You know, with Stephanie, I was much more active with her. You know, the effects, that's 15 years ago, the effects have gotten worse. But yeah, I think it is me more now with the things that I can't do with my kids that I want to do.
What about you, Susan?
Yeah, exactly the same, because I think when he was fairly small, like I said to Michael, you know, I held him back because we're going to climb down some rocks, and I thought, well, if I fall and he's 3, what am I going to do? So I always felt like I held him back. He's caught up now, but I used to see him with other kids and think, oh, he's not going to try that, because he hasn't tried it, because I would, you know, and like living in BC and the hiking I was doing, and now he's caught up, like I said, with most of the kids, and will do whatever. And he's 7 now, just so I can let him go ahead of me. And you know, on the beach, I can just sit on the beach, and he's pretty independent and doesn't go too far. Like we have rules. So yeah. And I mean, he's skiing, and I wanted him to ski. I mean, it'd be nice to ski with him, but I'm not at this point. So, but we're putting him in a lot of things so that he can have the experiences I want him to have. Now he can still climb up on my lap, so that's another nice thing. He's
The getting into sort of a little bit about having a community help you through this this part of your life. Do you feel like, one question that we talked to the scientists a lot about today was improving the standard of living, the quality of life, sharing best practices, knowing what's out there. Peter Harper's book, The Facts. Is there comfort in getting this knowledge? First, I guess my first question would be, did you ever go through a time of like utter denial, like, I am not going to deal with this. This isn't going to be me. I'm not going to have any problems. Was there ever a moment where you just were like?
I don't think it was denial. It was more like depressed. It was never, not really ever denied it. I was never denying that I had it, but I could go through periods of just feeling depressed about it, and then you just have to snap out of it, because it doesn't do any good.
As far as knowing, do you feel like you're getting sort of the best possible care?
I would say, yeah, like I've been seeing a neurologist or a muscular doctor, whatever they're classified as, since early on. We did have genetic counseling prior to me becoming pregnant too. Not that it didn't do much, I mean, because I knew I had it, but they were just talking about the risks and the tests you could have. But I've had very good doctors, and William too. Actually, the 2 doctors that I see now and that William sees both come from Ottawa, and they know each other and talk together, so that's always good that, you know, because it's sort of a family they're dealing with, and they're progressive, they give us options, they help us decide, but don't say do this, do that, which I appreciate. So in terms of right now, yes. Prior to this, no. Like,
Prior to what?
prior to seeing them, when I would go to another doctor for, like, when I started seeing a gynecologist or whatever, so what is this? And I'm like, okay, I'm the patient, you're supposed to know this, you're the doctor. And actually I was talking to another fellow here, and I said I was so tired of everybody saying, what is this? Professional doctors. And when I attended this in Quebec, And it was almost a relief that, okay, I'm not the only weird person out there that has this disease. There's so many other people. So that was sort of one of the best things I got from being in Quebec, that I'm not the only one. More people are going to know about this. And my gynecologist, was William, was the first doctor that knew all about this. And it was just like, oh, this is a relief. It was awesome. I can say enough good things about him. So I'd say 9 years ago then, when I was pregnant with William, was really the time when more people knew about it, and I didn't have to tell everything in my little lay terms about what I knew about this disease.
Well, you talk a little. I've been also talking a little bit today, and that's why I'm kind of, y'all are my first ones out the gate right now. So I'm just interested in hearing, like, kind of translating maybe a little bit of like what I heard from the scientists and the researchers' point of views to what's going on. But as far as having an organization like Myotonic Dystrophy Foundation, being able to rally sort of patient advocacy, getting the best shared practices out there. It's a twofold question. I guess the first one is, how important is that, do you think, to the fight against myotonic dystrophy?
Oh, I think it's extremely important, because I don't know a lot about Myotonic Dystrophy Association until more recently. Like, I just live in my world, and people that know about it, and I think practices and things like what you mentioned would be helpful. My husband Michael is a big researcher and getting very involved in the whole myotonic dystrophy thing, so he informs me about a lot of stuff, and now he's telling me what's out there, and got me to see a geneticist, a special guy that you have to wait a year to see, and got me to see him to make sure, in his opinion, I had the right doctors, the best doctors. Gave me a bunch of other tests that I've never been told to take, like sleep apnea, pulmonary lung tests, things like that that I hadn't been suggested to me. So it was probably a good recommendation to have those other tests done.
I think there's such a wide variance of the doctors we see, like with Susan and with my mom. I've had the pulmonary, I had the eye test, I had the sleep study, I had all those things, and I'd say, my mom's like, well, why are you doing that? Well, they need some base data, so if things go wrong. And likewise with Susan, when I just found out she was having these, I'm like, okay, why haven't you had those? So it's kind of like there's an uneven balance of what these doctors that we see know, and there needs to be, like a sheet, do this, 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 if you're thinking that they have myotonic dystrophy or something, so that all the data is there and all the base data is there, so that as we get older and things change, they have something to compare it with, and that everybody has the same. I think for me, the biggest, frustration is when we were fundraising in London, after William was born, we had a really hard time getting our funds to go to myotonic dystrophy. It went to the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation, and we're saying, no, it's myotonic dystrophy. No disrespect to anybody that has Duchenne's or anything, but this is my disease and my family's disease and my son's disease. That's where I want my fundraising to go. What you have in the States is far greater, far further advanced, and I want that to come to Canada. So I'm being a little greedy saying, keep it coming.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I would say also that maybe Quebec or Canada's got a little bit more. I was talking to one of the scientists from Quebec,
right.
So I said Quebec. But in Canada, because it's a nationalized system of medicine and health, you have maybe an up on us, because you have an opportunity there to get like the testing that you're talking about. Americans, it's like, if you've got your little pockets of information going on all the time, to get all that together, like you were talking about, bringing the patient information together.
See, because the muscular dystrophy covers all diseases under that umbrella, and to separate that, we finally gave up and did it through the hospital with Dr. Campbell and Vernance and Dr. Lee there in London. But yeah, it was really frustrating.
So now you guys are the ones that are coming to the conference, highly motivated spouse, raising funds in Canada. Do you meet many people outside of that realm that have myotonic dystrophy that just have no concept of what you're even talking about? Like they're not even on the same page. Do you think there's a population out there that just has not been reached yet?
I think there's people that have it and don't know yet, but I've never met somebody else that has it outside of, my family or people here that I've met. But I actually saw somebody wearing the splints, and it wasn't for the same reason because we stopped. But I have not met anybody.
We did, through our fundraising that we did with Dr. Kimball, he mentioned our fundraiser to families. So we did meet a couple from Pickering Way, and another couple my husband knows, sort of knows of them. But we also know of another family that didn't want anything to do with it. So I'm assuming they're probably still in denial, which, we're not going to change. But no, other than that, it's.
Well, it's interesting because that's one of the things that I'm trying to understand a little bit right now is that, is there like a little bit of grace and knowledge, once you start understanding what you have, do you think they probably would feel better about it? I mean, from your personal experience, understanding what you have, dealing with it, testing, getting tested, is there something comforting about that? Understanding what you have?
Yeah, for personally, yeah. The more you know, the better it is, and the better you can choose your options. And
I think better prepared for what may come as well. I mean, even within like when I was talking about the numbers as A1, A2, A3, even within, if my brother and sister and I all have A1, I could be in a wheelchair, Susan could have the cataracts, my brother could, whatever, have very poor speech. So each of them, like within each division, like it's when you have a cold, you have a little bit of a cold, the syphilis, you have a really bad, developed bronchitis, and then you're somewhere in the middle. So within those divisions of how many repetitions you can have, it can be so varied that I think you really need to know what may come, what your options are if you're faced with that, those kinds of things.
What's your number one priority right now? I mean, it might be your son's.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, me or somebody else.
But actually, I mean, let's just talk about yourselves for a minute. Just, selfishly tell me what's your number one priority going forward for the next short term? What do you want to? Yeah. What's the battle that you're sort of fighting right now, or the challenge that you're trying to deal with?
Mine right now is the fatigue. I teach full time, and I'm having to look at how I'm going to handle that or reduce. But I still need to keep a salary. I still, want to help support my family. I still need my benefits, definitely. So it's just figuring all that out, how I can still do my job well. I do enjoy what I do. But it's becoming very, very difficult to, by the end of the day, I'm toast. So, I've got marketing to do, I've got report cards to write, I've got, things to do for the office, and I run out of time.
What do you teach?
I teach grade 7 elementary school. So, it's never dull, it's exciting. It's grade 7, and the hormones are fine, but how I've started to handle that is I go in at 7:30 in the morning, because once I'm up and I take Ritalin, so I'm ready to go, because by the end of that day I've got, I want to be home with my kids, help get dinner ready, laundry, all those other things that have to be done, and I can't do all of that anymore. And getting my husband to understand fatigue has been a challenge, because he's never tired. He can go 1 4 hours sleep, and it's not, I don't know about you, but it's not being tired. It's totally, it's okay, move.
It's not mentally,
no,
it's physical.
Like, the thing lazy and tired because you've been out too late or whatever, but it's actual fatigue. Like, your whole body just doesn't want to move. And I find that extremely frustrating. My daughter is like my husband in competitive sports, and my son, dealing with him and helping to take care of him and push his wheelchair and all those things you want to do, and just having fun, like going out with my husband for dinner. It's I'm too tired, and the fatigue is the thing I find the most frustrating, because there's nothing. You can wear braces so you don't chip on your toes. You can get cataracts fixed, but the fatigue is
probably number one symptom for people with.
Yeah.
Is that what you'd like to see them figuring out? As my next question was sort of, what do you want to see as the next? What would you, if you were going to be able to drive all the next research? Obviously you're looking for treatments and therapies and eventually, hopefully, cures. But would fatigue be on the top of your list to make your life, quality of life better?
To get rid of one symptom, yes, for me it's to find something to stop it. Because I'm sorry.
Stop it from getting worse.
What they told us with our son was that because he's continually getting better, and then he'll plateau, and then he'll go down. And he hasn't plateaued yet. And he talks and he reads and he does math, he goes to school and he cracks jokes and he's absolutely amazing. I can live with where he's at now. I can live with where I'm at now. And my sisters and my mom. I'm sorry.
Need a towel?
Yeah,
Your tissue right now.
This is a tissue. Sorry.
It's very
Have a
brave to talk
box.
about it.
I'm
I really
sorry.
appreciate it.
No problem, no problem.
I said I wasn't going to do this, but
That's right, this is the video setup where you're supposed to cry. This is, you're actually doing good.
David, you're doing too good of a job. Stop.
you see, tears get
Made
money,
me
so there you
cry.
go.
So we need to find a
Oops,
cure for
just
the
tear my-
fatigue.
Nope. good.
No? Okay.
Or just the whole thing, just,
Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's okay. So we're, I mean, really, I wanna just find out from you guys, are we on the path of going in the right direction? Do you feel confident that we're trying the right things right now, that we're working in the right direction? When you go to these conferences and see the kind of work, do you walk away thinking, it may not come in my lifetime, it may not come in, God forbid, my children's lifetime, but it's coming, you know?
Yeah.
Do you see that spark out there that we're going in the right direction?
well, with what I know, it's gonna come in my lifetime, I think. And I think they're going in the right direction. Maybe I'm naive to think that it will, but from what I hear and what I do know, and people I know that are working on it, I feel quite optimistic that it will. And, you know, when I talk to my mom, who's 73 years old, and she's kind of got her 6-hour day, and that's kind of her, and I say, you know, if something came out, would you even want to try? And she's like, absolutely. So, I mean, I think I just basically think she's going to live her life like she is until she doesn't. But now that I think I don't know, as I said, maybe I'm naive, but I really feel fairly confident that it will come in my lifetime, our
I
lifetime.
think when I was in Quebec, there was a lot about, you know, what we're testing, what we're trying, and I sort of get a sense now we are trying and we are getting there. And I agree with Susan that I think that, I mean, maybe we'll be 73 when it comes around, but I think we're, just the sense, the atmosphere I sense from this one to the last one is that we're a lot closer. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the sooner the better for all of us concerned. But I think this type of event to also bring us more hope. And I think, and this was me thinking of the scientists. I think when they hear what everybody else is doing, that inspires them to, you know, gives them more ideas. It inspires them to go further. So that can only increase, you know, getting closer to the disease.
They just, as long as they all work together and not
Yeah.
compete to, you know, I don't know how much that happens in the scientific world, but just as long as they put everything they've got and put it together and not try to be the first to, I mean, that would be great, whoever.
Yeah.
But
Is it teamwork? I mean, that's really, let's just keep them working together, right?
Sure.
And from what I understand, having the patient database and having the patients work with them is just
Yeah.
part of that puzzle. It's not something that's going to be done in a vacuum of no patients.
No.
right, no, you have to have that aspect.
Jackie, do you have something to add for me?
You have like 3 minutes till I need to change cards.
Okay.
And then I think that would be a good time to break.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But no.
I might get some details that I haven't asked you, like
Sure.
how old your son is, all that kind of stuff, but I might ask you off camera. I don't need to
That's
record on that.
Okay.
But thank you.
Oh,
I
thank you.
really appreciate your time.
No problem.
It's a lot. I'm asking a lot. I'm sorry.
Happy to do it, yeah.
And I appreciate it.
Okay, sit tight a sec.
I'm gonna ask you actually to take just maybe have them just talking for a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll keep it, but
You
Susan,
get
tell
2
me,
minutes.
you and Megan have in your family someone that's gone into research. Can you tell me a little bit about what Catherine's doing?
Well, she works in the Rochester Medical Center under Charles Thornton, and she's reversing this in mice, and she sees this, so that gives me a lot of hope that. But she's wanted to do this for as long as I know, because if I can say something humorous, when she was 13, we were driving to a football game, and she was in the back of the car, and she said she knew even at that age this is what she was going to do, and she said, "I hope all the diseases aren't cured before I get there." And we just thought, because she's very brilliant and smart, and that just was kind of an innocent, cute comment that she made. So they're not all cured, and here we are with having her help.
Do you find a bit of comfort having Catherine sort
Oh,
of
sure.
behind driving the new generation of research here?
Sure, yeah.
Definitely.
To
Yes,
know,
we-
actually know someone that that just because she's seen us and she knows us and she's seen William, and I think it's kind of cool to see the patient as well as the cells, like at the scientific part. So yeah, it's very
Sometimes
comforting.
the scientists are in that laboratory shell of their own too, and if I were Catherine, I'm speaking sort of for her, but I think it would make my experience richer because she's seen us, she sees how we live with it, as well as being in the scientific shell where she's trying to fix us in a way.
So I don't
think
think-
sometimes scientists don't
yeah.
see that. They don't think of the families. They just think of this is what I'm going to find. And of course, the bottom line is it's going to help people, but she sees that a lot more.
And a lot of I'm assuming a lot of scientists don't know personal people that have the disease. Maybe some, I'm sure some of them do, but
The
maybe
clinicians
the-
more
yeah.
would have that, would see the patients more than I would say scientists would.
Great.
my name's Susan Hagerman, and I have a son, Max, who just turned 7, and he's in grade 2 in Vancouver. And I have 2 stepdaughters, Catherine, who is a researcher with the Rochester Medical Center working specifically on myotonic dystrophy, and she's 31. And I have Sarah Hagerman, who is 34, and actually she just got married, and she works in human resources in industry and corporate business.
Great. And Megan?
I live in London, Ontario. My name is Megan Singeris. I have 2 children. Stephanie, who is 15, going on 25, in grade 10 in high school, and having a great time there. And I have William, who is 9, and he is positively identified with myotonic dystrophy, but he's great. He's a real ham.
And you have a husband too?
I am married, yeah, Phil Singeris. He operated the family business, which started in the 1930s until about 2 years ago, and now he works financial business, small loans for TD Canada. So,
And your son Max is not impacted
No,
by?
no.
Can you just say that in a complete sentence for me?
Max is not affected with myotonic dystrophy.
Great.
No, honestly, that was brilliant, because then we could use it if we used that photograph.
And I have a husband too.
Oh, did you not say
Oh,
that?
we didn't get you.
Oh, you
No, I have a
gotta say you have a
husband.
husband. I'll
Was
get
I
in trouble with
supposed to-
Michael if you don't tell me.
was I supposed to give a grade for William?
No, it's
Or no?
fine.
Okay.
But go ahead
So
and tell
I'm
me.
also married to Michael Hagerman, and he is working basically with the myotonic dystrophy research and foundations, and kind of being the business guy behind running foundations. And he's a jack of all trades, basically.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
listen, thank you
welcome.
so much. That was really good of you to do it.
Happy to
Is
do
that
it.
okay, kind
Yeah.
of chopped up like that?
Yep.
I think we can cut
We'll have to
that.
cut it out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So
All right.
we can de-mic you.
I think we can cut that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Susan.
My name's Susan Hagerman, and I have a son, Max, who is 7 years old and in grade 2 in Vancouver. I also have two stepdaughters. Catherine is 31 and is a researcher in Rochester Medical Center working specifically on myotonic dystrophy, triple repeat disease. And I have a 34-year-old stepdaughter, Sarah, who's recently married, lives in Vancouver, and works in the human resource industry. And I have a husband, Michael, and he is retired, but working pro bono with the foundations in myotonic dystrophy, very interested in looking at the reversal of the disease, and that's what he spends his time now as a retired person.
I'm Megan Singeris, married to Phil Singeris, who ran a family business but now works in the banking field. We have two children, Stephanie, who is 15. She's grade 10 in high school and would like to take over the world and that kind of thing. And then we have William, who is positively identified with having myotonic dystrophy. He's 9, but he attends school, is in grade 4, and is reading and writing and talking and doing everything that he can to enjoy life to the fullest, as we do with them.